I'm here to talk about Mobenga, yes, and I'm going to actually talk a little bit more about Jäkne, which is a startup studio that I'm one of the founders of. And I'm going to talk about what our startup studio is doing, why we have come to the conclusion that we actually wanted to run our business in that way. I'm going to talk about I've been working with startups or running companies for 15 plus years, and I've been involved in both successful and failed initiatives and some learnings around that. I'm going to talk about Mobenga specifically, some anecdotes, and what we're doing now at Jäkne. So what is the startup studio, or what does it come from? So Jäkne, to begin with, is the name of the street where we have our two buildings. Jäkne is an old Swedish word for like student or gymnasist or something like that, so some kind of curious mind. We started out in 2003. We have me and the 5 other guys. At that time we didn't call ourselves Jäkne, but it's the same group still. We have been involved in somewhere between 30 and 40 startups. We have done 3 major exits: Mobenga, Every Sport Media Group, and Hitahem. We have currently a portfolio around about 10 active companies that we are still building. And we have the Jäkne, the startup studio where we run, where we based operations from. And what we have been, or what we actually are doing is that we're trying to do some kind of parallel entrepreneurism. So we are running several companies at the same time and trying to optimize the different. I mean, one company can be in one phase, high risk, it will take a lot of time. Some other companies actually earning money, and you can combine having children, having a monthly salary with taking risk. And we have a focus on starting and running company. Since we're doing it in parallel, we kind of have a process that we can repeat and also parallelize. And we, as a symptom or a by effect of what we are doing, different. I mean, the platform that we call Jäkne is something that we have grown organically from the demand of our, from the need of our companies that we host. We are active co-founders. So we are not just a VC, we're not an incubator, we're not an accelerator. We go in as active co-founders. With the 3 exits we have done so far, the average time from where we founded it until the sale was finished is 10 years. So this was 16 years, this was 10 years, and this was 6 years or something like that. Next slide. So what we have at Jäkne is the only product that we have is our portfolio of running companies, or our portfolio of companies, and the only way we measure success is the growth of these companies. We don't measure growth in for example, funding, getting an investment in these different companies, or something you often need to do to just grow these companies. But we measure it in hires, sales, those kind of things. Nothing else really matters. And also we measure it in how fun we have. And we try to optimize. This whole thing is about trying to have fun until we die. So we have tried to classify having fun into 4 different legs. The 2 first, nice people, or being able to work with nice people and skilled people is fun. And good people attract other good people. We rather have a few really good and friendly people than a lot of unfriendly people that are not good either. We want to work with products we believe in and actually want to use ourselves. That makes it more fun, and we want to do good business. And good business is perhaps a bad translation, but it's not that it should be like a super great financial thing. It's positive. It can be that too, but it's some of the people in our group of founders were part of the .com era, for example, and saw how companies could grow from with nothing of substance, from 0 to billions in valuation. And since we've done in the beginning, we didn't have any money, but we were funded by this Swedish student, CSN, what you get from this university, and that we managed to use alongside with extra work and stuff. So we could survive until we actually made first sale of one of these companies, Mobenga. So we are currently completely self-financed, so we don't have a fund forcing us to show results after every quarter, or we don't have an exit strategy after 3 years. So we try to run these companies that we are involved in as if we would own it forever. Very long-term and personal thing. And I have 2 slides about some of the tactics we try to all these different learnings we've done over the years. Something we believe is very, very important is I think it's often mentioned too, but start with the product, and you can actually sell the product before you have built it. And we usually sell our products before we build it. So usually when we nowadays start a company, we or someone else have an idea, and we try to team up with a perfect customer of ours and make them co-founders of this company. And as part of that initial agreement we try to define that if we deliver this initial MVP until this date, then you as our customer, you need to commit to buy this product for X amount of money or subscribe to it for X amount of time or something. And then we make sure that we actually we deliver it on time. And since so far at least, of course it has both worked and not worked, but lately it has worked well. We automatically get our first portfolio customer, we get revenues, we actually have a product that our typical customer that we have identified. If we sell something to ICA, the grocery chain, if they have something that they want, then Coop and Hemköp and all those should probably want it too, because they are the perfect. We have developed it together with a typical customer. Last thing here is something that we try to use Jäkne as a platform for our startups to be able to seem stronger and more mature than they actually are, and that even though you're perhaps 1 person or 2 persons, when you're in that and at that place and you have some customer or something, you can act bigger than you are, and that's part of this, that you need to, even though this is the first time you're running your company, you have this is your first customer meeting and so on, act like you know it. You don't need to say, for example, when you have this prototype you want to show, this standard disclaimer like, remember that this is an unfinished product, blah blah blah, and like lower the expectation super much. Instead, be proud of what you have done, and most likely you're an expert in what you're doing, so like, don't, even though you might not have so much like so many years of experience and so on, act like you know it, and dare to sell what you actually can deliver when the customer needs it, instead of selling what you have right now. And of course that requires you to be able to deliver it also, but hopefully if you know what you're doing, then that's not a problem. Another of these growth tactics we try to use is that it's so easy with engineers that they try to do everything themselves, and it's getting more and more relevant for every day. Really try to not reinvent the wheel. Try to use as much of off-the-shelf technology as possible. Like, don't build your own CMS, don't build your own file system, don't do all those things. You will not get more stars on App Store because you have a great in-house developed system. Try to do what's special for your product, your USPs. Try to make that. That is where you want to maximize the times that you invest. And also, I mean, the longer we can keep our development teams, and these teams are about, like, not project managers or anything like that, but just the development teams. As soon as we pass 3 guys or girls, then we need to start introducing much more of the processes and all that necessary things, but it's not as fun. So a small team can work just as fast as a bigger team, just by being clever, using the best technologies, optimizing where you spend the time. And if you're small, then you automatically, I mean, we often intentionally give our startups or our companies too little resources, because if you can have this desperation, then you will not prioritize things that is not absolutely essential. And also, as part of a culture building thing, if you are the founder or a co-founder or something like that, and in general, if you're just one person, even then you can communicate in we form. And that's something I learned personally when, for example, growing Mobenga, is that it's quite convenient to be able to, for example, say that if we have delivered this, then I can actually blame someone that doesn't exist, that something is wrong, or if someone has reported a bug or something like that, if we are looking into it, then it kind of gives a higher business value to the receiver. There's multiple people that have put attention to it than just one, and that in everything you do, if it's communication internally or external and so on, try to use the opportunity to deliver business value, even in your mails and so on. And just the difference between we and I is something that I personally have found a lot of, like this hidden value in. Another example is a big difference in saying, no, we're not ready, there's so many bugs, we need 3 more days to fix it, to saying, no, we're still optimizing the solution, it will be ready in 3 days. Usually the clients and so on, they will buy that and be happy about it. Mobenga then, that was my main or my baby, or what to say, a project that I started to work with already in 2003. But then as things evolved, it turned out to a company, and it was 3 different entities. The company that I'm part of which is called Jäkne now, that had around a third of the shares. One part that had business insights and sales skills in betting and e-gaming, and the third part that had some money. We founded the company in 2005. I studied in Ronneby in Blekinge in southern Sweden, and I come from from here it's 13 hours drive north, so it's like 6-7 hours north of Stockholm if you drive. Anyway, we started there in Ronneby in 2001, or I moved there, and around the time when I moved to Malmö, which was 2005, 2006, that was when we founded Mobenga. And it was based on a sport application that we had done already and had a Swedish business going, but it was very early days, like there was not really a concept of apps. And we were doing J2ME and WAP technology. But anyway, we started to work with betting companies and took client after client. The first client we took was, this is Killanshållsgatan here in Malmö, and I used to live here. And this was the first Mobenga office. And I used to sit in my bedroom where I had a desk, and the first colleague, one of the co-founders, he sat in my kitchen, and we mixed working on that and some other projects with playing StarCraft. When we started we were a group of 4 developers that was based in Ronneby, and I moved on first, and then more and more of the guys moved on. As I don't know if anyone finished the studies, but we got sick of Ronneby at least and moved on. And the second office was this old hairdressing shop, where I think the hairdresser died, and like just the business stopped as when he fell down to the floor, and it like it smelled of this hair oil, and it had this really old fan in the roof, and it was so hot. It was this hot in the summer because no ventilation, and we were sitting in just shorts and bare, no t-shirt, and also mixing this programming with in the evenings we were just a bunch of friends, so we continued to play StarCraft down there. So people thought this was a internet cafe, but it wasn't. But anyway, we had the first customer coming to us, and then we were still sitting there. But we had recruited, the first guy we recruited was a CEO that was a former sports betting company CEO, and he had signed a deal with Nordic Bet, and he had said that we were 20 developers, and like no sports betting company would go with this hairdressing shop guys companies. So we had always to act as we were more mature and bigger and so on than we actually were. We could deliver according to what we promised, but we were not as many. So that this is when I learned this we form kind of mailing and referring to the test manager and things. Other roles, you can Google what they did. But we rented a conference room at the hotel and blamed that we had some renovation in our office and we couldn't have a meeting there, and that was fine. And then we delivered, we over-delivered to them, and they were happy, and we took on more and more business. And nothing really happened. We didn't have really any revenues until around 2009, when one of the biggest sports betting companies called Paddy Power signed with us, and this was late 2009, and this was at around the time when the iPhone started to be popular, and at that time we hadn't developed anything for iPhone, but our CEO said we were ready with it almost, of course. So we delivered the world's first app to the App Store here as part of or in relation to the World Cup in 2010. And yeah, that's me back then. And yeah, the devices have grown smaller over the years, you know. but what we did then at the World Cup was that we kind of created a new industry standard on how sports betting should look and work, and basically every competitor to these green guys contacted us and wanted the same as they were having. We even got like a copy paste of this in a Word document where they have dropped their logo on top of it and said that their product department had created this and this was what they wanted. And this was around here, and after this then everything started to grow like crazy. From this World Cup, which was June and July in 2010, we started to you see, this is the people we started to grow with every year, and this is the turnover we generated. Sorry. And it was crazy here. I mean, it was almost one new person every second week, or every week sometimes. When you went to vacation, or if you just went away for a week, then it could be 3 new guys, and everything you had said the week before, then there were new people that had never heard it. So it was very challenging to try to maintain some kind of company culture and that people knew what we were doing. I left Mobenga around this time last year and went back to my own company, Jäkne, and we were around these levels then. So we were around 130 people, around 230 million SEK in turnover, with I think we were doing around in stakes. So when people place a bet on some sport result, we were doing around 6 billion SEK a month, and in average in June 2015 we were which was the best month, I think, or if it was May. We were doing with that average. We were doing 12 bets a second every second of the year, so 12 transactions a second, and this is from these numbers are with the first 100 employees that we had 24 different nationalities and 38 people out of these hundreds that were born outside of Sweden. So it was a very cool environment, and it was really, we were the top provider over these years, and this is one screenshot. I don't remember exactly the year, probably 2014. This is the top 25 in the UK, and on this we were number 2, 3, and 4. And I didn't screenshot when we were number 1, 4, and 5, which like the gold medal is better, but it's still fine. I can talk about Mobenga stuff forever, but it was an incredible journey where, since all these years, you got to, I mean, that became my family. You saw people coming from these very techie nerds, myself included, in having, like, finding a partner, having kids, buying a house, getting a dog or a car or whatever, and so on. Besides all these technical or product learnings and so on, it was amazing to see how all these people grew. Yeah, I think I will take my last slide. But I was asked to like tell the story about Mobenga, and the last time I did it when I was in Mobenga, it took 2 hours. So I didn't really know where to start. But it was a really amazing journey like that. It was coming from, I mean, when I was little, I was this kind of dreamer type, and my parents and my friends and so on, they were a lot of my ideas. They just, yeah, he's talking again, or dreaming again and so on. And it was so cool to. I mean, I had this almost. I feel inside that I'm not good enough. So, and that I've heard that like stop dreaming. And the cool thing that I thought about when I was like around these years is that I'm actually thinking exactly as when I was 7 years old and trying to build this tree fort that didn't really look so good and so on. That in my drawings looked good, but in reality it was just not so good. But here we actually, using the same kind of curious mind that I had, actually managed to be part of this. So something, what I mean with that is, I mean, stick with your idea even though other people might not understand it, and that things take time. And lastly, this is one of the projects I'm mostly involved in right now. And before I said that Jäkne is co-founders and so on, and it perhaps sounded that we are not operative in these companies, but we go in hands-on in these different startups as if we yes, sometimes we are part of it from day zero. Sometimes we're not, but at least we are part of it from the early days. And now we have a company called United Robots, where we are trying to provide relevant content through technology. And what we are doing is that we are automating text. So we are writing, we are doing robot text or natural language generation. So we started out with sports, news. So we're writing reports after games, ahead of games, summarizing different things, alerting of games that might be of interest and so on. Where we are around. We started in September, October last year, and we already have. It's not official yet, but today we sent a contract to our third media house that are buying these texts. So we are producing 300 or 400 news articles a day with zero manual work, and they are published straight out to these newspapers. And if someone here is very good or interested in natural language generation or data science and stuff like that, you can like poke me. But yeah, it's a very very exciting thing. It's very, in comparison to all the other projects we worked with, this is the most algorithm heavy. So for a developer, it's very fun. Yes, that's it. And please ask questions now or later. Thank you.